It's day 69 of the Travel Agency Near podcast. And this episode are travel trends to consider if you still feel like you need a change or you're brand newbie and you're just considering a career in the travel industry as an advisor. All of these trends focus more on the luxury end. And I will say that I got them from a Conde Nast article. And just like I said yesterday, destination weddings aren't going away. If anyone's telling you that, I don't know even why they're telling you that. It's they're not going away. So, destination weddings aren't a part of this episode, but if you're like, "I would like to consider a career in travel, but I don't know what I would do." First of all, listen to this episode. Secondly, I do have a $47 easy peasy 5-day sweet spot to success course at elevatewithrachelk.com, and it kind of goes into finding your superpowers, your super knowledge, help you kind of create little service packages, not travel packages, so that when you are ready to niche down, which I highly recommend you niche, then once you get everything set up and started and going, you got this is what I do. This is who I am. And you can always change it down the road. All right, luxury rail is super duper trending. If you are an advisor that's like, I'm done with my niche, I'm over it, like Disney, whatever, consider luxury rail. Specifically, multi rail is up 41% for 2026, and it is trending into 2027. I'm filming this in early 2026. Because honestly, the idea for this 365 episode podcast came to me in like mid December 2025. And I was like, well, just doing it. What is luxury rail? Like, think of, I almost said just Murder on the Orient Express, but think of the Orient Express. Like, people want nicer accommodations on the train. They want to stop and see multiple places. They want to take it slower. And honestly, it's trending because we have so much thrown in our faces with our like ads everywhere, even on your paid whatever streaming services, unless you pay even more, you have ads constantly. Most of us spend a significant amount of time on social media or on our phones. Then we have work, then we have family, we have any other social obligations. It's a lot. So luxury rail kind of like forces people to slow down. If you want to get into that, consider that as one of the selling points, people. All right. I mentioned this a little bit in yesterday's episode, but ancestry and heritage travel. Again, people want something meaningful. And if they can spend some time in another destination to see where their family came from before they immigrated to the US. By the way, I'm a US travel advisor. Anything that I talk about in these episodes are like my experience with the US. But heritage travel, ancestry travel, they want to be able to connect with something other than stupid reels. I said it. They're stupid. So, entertaining. Don't get me wrong. Informative, but you get sucked in. All right. Let's spend more than 60 seconds on something. Let's actually go see where our families came from. I actually like doing this, and I heard my uncle is kind of doing a similar thing in the US, and they did some trip where one of the first family farms was established in the US or something, and now it's like a state park. I don't know all the details. It was a little blip that I was told probably 3 months ago, and I was like, "Huh, interesting." So that is something that is trending. All right, no alcohol. Gen Z doesn't drink nearly as much alcohol as they should. That was a joke. Um, but they are drinking far less alcohol than we have in generations past. So then it's a question of what value do the all inclusives offer for Gen Z other than unlimited food and drink, right? Another reason why alcohol is trending downward, well, we're not even going to talk about the disastrous health issues. It's very toxic. It's fine. You can still enjoy it occasionally. But also, Ozempic. A lot of people are on GLP-1s, and drinking alcohol really upsets the I've seen it. I don't know how it works from a physiological standpoint, but I've known people on GLP-1s who are like, "Oops, I had one drink," and they're just, like, puking. So they're just like, I'm just not gonna drink." So they don't drink nearly as much. Ooh, this one's exciting. Astro cruising. Going on a cruise to see the northern lights. There's solar eclipses coming up. I'm not gonna say the name of this brand because I'm not gonna pronounce it right. But, like, cruise lines like Viking, they're offering northern skies itineraries for 26 and 27, possibly beyond. I'm just saying, again, this is from a Conde Nast article. um, to see the northern lights and to get in certain locations in like the Atlantic Ocean to see the solar eclipses unobstructed, which sounds really cool. And some ships are going to be bringing astronomers on board if the sailing involves, like, oh, you're going to see aurora borealis, or there's this crazy phenomenon in the sky tonight. So that's kind of a cool thing if you're into astronomy, or you know that your ideal client really likes astronomy. That could be something that you should research and look into and take some trainings on so that you can help them have these really awesome cruises. I did a solar eclipse on a boat on a lake, not as extravagant, but it was pretty cool to be out in the water, out in nature, and have complete darkness for like 5 minutes or whatever. It was really neat. And to see the wildlife react as though it was like sundown and then sun up. It was interesting. That's my take. I would totally do one of these if I had time. All right. Another thing, if they are traveling internationally, there's a higher demand for local spots, as in grocery stores. Like food souvenirs are on the rise because it's like local flavor, even if it's just like little spices. And they want more authentic experiences of a destination. So I'm not trashing all inclusive resorts. I love a good all inclusive resort. It's convenient, it gets people familiarized with a destination without having to be fully immersed in it, especially in like third world countries, right? However, I've always been a fan of like going into town with a group of people, not just me by myself, but going into town and just like going to the local grocery store and seeing what they have. Um, Another thing, I think this is in London. The museums are offering glassless. They're taking the glass enclosures off. We'll see how this plays out. Are they going to have like weird security lasers? I don't know. To allow people to really touch and experience the items. Something to look into if you do Europe. Okay. All right. We have four more trends. Ultra luxe cruising. So think the Mandarin Oriental Hotel on the ocean. And I think I've talked about this in past episodes. I don't really recall. Luxury is so subjective. It's not like an objective truth necessarily how it's spun and marketed anymore. Like certain cruise lines and resort brands will be like 5-star luxury resort. And it's like none of that means anything. You still have mold everywhere and bed bugs and terrible service. And I got food poisoning. I didn't, but you know what I mean. Um, so when I say ultra luxe, like just think the Mandarin Oriental is a very, very, very nice hotel brand. And hotel brands like that, like Ritz-Carlton are launching cruise ships. They're getting into the cruise space. And I think that has to do with A, being able to see multiple destinations over a short period of time versus staying in a hotel. B, again, the shift with less alcohol. A lot of cruise lines don't have alcohol included in their fares or their rates. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm terrified of cruise ships, like big ocean liner cruise ships. They're so I don't want to fall off and die. So I've never been on an ocean cruise. Just laugh at me. All right. So I mentioned using AI for lead generation and also to help you as a tool. Don't like use it. The CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, has said AI is in a bubble. It will burst. Okay. So, like, think of if you were alive back then, like the Silicon Valley tech bubble that we were in. We're in a similar phase right now. Not to say that AI is going away. Just know 95% of AI projects have failed. Now, with that being said, I mentioned using there's a software as a service company that's launching soon that I've heard of that is offering assistance with lead generation via AI, crawling on specific social media platforms and responding for you. I think that that type of thing is going to be more for the mid-level and budget or budget conscious clientele, and people mid-level or higher with the higher spend or just more of like a higher, I don't want to say higher standards, but not budget people. I think that AI is going to increase the split between low class and high class. And I'm not saying low class like poor or anything, and high class is only the wealthy. The value system. People who, well, and I don't want to say low class isn't trashy. I'm not wording this correctly. Stay with me. Stay with me, people. So there's been a lot of talk over years that the middle class is going away in the United States, right? And I think that AI will further separate the lower and upper classes. And the middle is going to have to choose which direction they want to go with regards to service, not only with travel, but like anything in general. So, with that being said, I personally think that AI is going to be very good, a very, very good tool to use for lead generation services and large volume but low trip cost clientele. So you can just like, it's almost like affiliate link, but an AI bot will somehow do that for you because those people value saving money, not really not not a whole lot else. I'm sorry. I don't want to like say those people or anything like that. I'm just saying like there's a disparity between a lot of heavy AI usage versus personalized service. Because AI is in a bubble, we are still in demand. And just know that we are still in demand with people who typically will have a higher budget spend. They want more of a personalized service, high touch experience, like high touch in terms of service. And regardless of where you are on the spectrum with clientele, AI will still be somewhere on the spectrum helping as a tool. Don't get me wrong. But human intelligence will always be the greatest currency, not AI data. Okay. So your knowledge, your expertise, your ability to understand nuance and tone and communication clearly is going to, don't worry about your job being taken by AI, is what I'm saying. You're going to be fine. Okay. Another trend in travel. There's an increase in well being and wellness retreats. We're in tough times, people. It's kind of, well, I feel like I was talking to a close friend of mine who doesn't work in travel at all. And we were just like, man, since we've graduated high school, it's just been one thing after the other. Is this how everyone's life is? And maybe it has been like this since the dawn of time. Who knows? And we just were never told about it by our parents or grandparents. However, people are wanting more of like well being and wellness retreats offered. for them. Now, if you do offer retreats, be very careful with how you manage them, set them up. You shouldn't be managing them. Otherwise, you might be considered a tour operator. Definitely talk to an attorney about that, but be very careful with how you have those retreats set up from a legal standpoint. Um, but also, you can look into there are many, many, many different suppliers, DMCs, cruise lines, and resort brands that have a focus on well being. And they may have like a wellness package, or they may have like additional spa treatments that could be included in a stay. An example I can think of right off the top of my head, couples resorts. They have spa villas at Couples Tower Isle. And if you have to book a minimum 5 night stay, last I booked them, and they include, like when you're checked in, you're brought directly to your little private villa with a privacy fence and a private pool, right? And there's a concierge there that will schedule all of your spa appointments that are included with your stay. So if you do romance type travel, and maybe you weren't familiar with couples resorts, you could look into that. It's Couples Tower Isle. It is their oldest property. The spa villas are fairly new compared to the rest of the property, but that's like an easy way to transition into well-being and wellness if you are in the resort sphere. Okay. From the Virtuoso luxury report. I just wrote down Lux for 2026. Ultra Lux is defined as every detail seamlessly included. If you want to promote yourself as a luxury travel advisor, every detail should be seamlessly included in your client's experience. All they need to be doing is like submitting their flight information if they're booking them on their own, submitting their name, date of birth, like giving the information that's needed, submitting the payments. Other things will be all taken care of. Now, if there's choices, let's say you go ultra luxe and you're like, okay, I have the ability to pre book all the dinner reservations for this client before they travel, but you weren't quite sure of their dining preferences, right? You would have to have a thorough knowledge of all the restaurants available, and you would not go to them and be like, what do you want? You would preemptively contact the cruise line or the resort brand and figure out which restaurants are open on what days, because not every restaurant may not be not every restaurant may be open every single day of the trip, right? And I'm doing this from a cruise resort standpoint in my brain. And from there, you would put together, here's my recommended dinner reservation schedule for the best experience for you, because you have very good active listening skills. And then once they approve that, like, please approve this and I will arrange this, then you can go set up the dinner reservations. Conversely, they could come back to you and say, well, I don't want this cuisine tonight. Can we swap them around? And then you would already have the schedule of what restaurants are open, so you can do that. And you can advise them properly. I feel like, I don't know if I'm having deja vu. I'm not editing this out either. I just, like, did I already say all of this on an episode 20 episodes ago? So those are like the trends in travel with regards to the luxury side. And again, I mentioned the middle is like thinner and thinner and thinner. So if you want to get more into luxury travel, those are some things that you can consider to either add to your service offerings, or if you're a brand new advisor, you could be like, oh, well, I could really do this. And I know how to serve these people. But just know ultra luxe, I used to be a butler, and ultra luxe is basically what I did as a butler. Like, you have everything done and planned out, and they just say yes or no. Okay. Just keep that in mind. And you learn over time with your clients their preferences, and you just get it done so they have less to think about, because people who want to have an ultra luxe experience don't want to have to think about it. They don't want to have too much responsibility. Don't get me wrong, they're going to have to do a lot of things on their own, Um, but still, do as much as you can if you want to get into that space. And yeah, that's it. So we're over 20 minutes and thanks for listening. If you know someone who wants to get into luxury travel, share this episode with them. And if see you tomorrow, see you tomorrow.